I don't really want to hear your arguments anymore because your minds are made up. So let's just move on.
Well, Charlie, I can tell you that I'm always open to looking at things differently, and I will just kind of remind our board, even I think prior to me being on it, when there were no parking spots in cluster 2 and I was having to rent a car, and when I came to the board asking what I'm to do, I was told, tough luck, follow the rules, go park in the communities area. So my point to saying that is that I know that I have to make a decision that's best for the entire community, not best for me over there in cluster 2. And so I'm saying to kind of maybe look at it from that perspective, meaning Laura's suggesting giving your cluster back a bunch of open parking spots for your owners.
Because
So
they need them.
Yeah, because they need them,
Yeah,
and so therefore it
I'm fine
shouldn't
with it.
impact anybody. It should only positively impact our owners, not negatively impact them.
I have a question, Laura, concerning the parking. I know you said cluster 1 has no visitor spots, so they've been using cluster 3s. And if we're gonna take some spots away, is it possible that cluster 1 could have their own visitor spots so that they have theirs and cluster 3 has theirs?
There is one resident in cluster 1 that, I am trying to figure out what our options are to tell that person to park in cluster 1. One of the people that was a chief offender of it is parking in cluster 1 again. And so I have absolutely no problem putting something on that vehicle, telling that person, you need to make every attempt to park in cluster 1, not cluster 3, just because it happens to be closer. The problem is, and I'm going to say this because Janet's about to jump in, and she has schooled me,
Because
is the unmarked parking spots and visitor spots are owned by the master. They're not owned by the cluster.
Every spot is owned by the
Every
master.
spot
Some are
on the
assigned as
property.
limited common owner.
So every spot on the property is owned by the master. So technically, I can't put that note on that cluster 1 car that keeps parking in cluster 3.
Right.
Even
says in the rules.
Even though, from my perspective, it's a fairness thing, right? Like, you have 10 parking spots you could park in, and you're too lazy to walk a little farther than your neighbor. So I don't know how to combat that other than saying that I have no problem putting a note on that vehicle saying you need to make every attempt to park in cluster 1. But technically we can't. Yeah, go ahead, Janet, and tell us how wrong we are, because I know that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how wrong you are, but I'm also gonna make a suggestion. You're talking about some unmarked spots. Is there any way that Robin, anywhere down further, has visitor spots that we can make those the visitor spots and move the unmarked spots further away to inconvenience that person? Do you know what I mean, Robin? Like,
I do, Janet. We do have some that are in front of 6116, and then there's some down a little further.
No, you
So
don't
I
have
don't
that.
know.
We don't have any
So you
down
have
any
2
further.
visitor spots right in front of 6116. The spot
Right.
that is consistently used by cluster 1 resident is that one that's on the very end of your carport. That's an
Right.
unmarked spot.
That's what I'm saying. Can we make that unmarked spot that's being used by cluster 1, can we turn that into a visitor spot for that end of the condo? That way that owner can no longer park there. And we'll take one of those visitor spots down by 6116 and make it unmarked for your people.
I think what would be helpful is if, this goes in action, is maybe if we just do a little walkthrough, like for where the visitor spots are, because again, I've explained, in certain spots, there's no issue, in other spots, there is a big issue, so it just really depends on how populated it is and where it is.
Right.
So maybe making, yes, we can agree on taking a certain number of visitor spots, but maybe saying we're gonna designate a time to go and select which ones we're gonna alter.
It's annoying, it's a pain in the butt, you may feel that it is lazy, you may feel whatever it is you feel about the person parking wherever, either this spot or others, but they can do it. So, we're not gonna put notes on cars,
I know.
because we can't enforce a rule that you don't even have or have the right to have.
But I'm totally in favor of repainting that, or painting that spot and painting over one of the other ones, Robin. Totally in favor of it. So, and I
Yeah,
think,
that could definitely work.
I think we should this is something to revisit, is where are the visitor spots for each cluster, and are they convenient for the community?
Each area, because these are big.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, that we have a lot, but in some areas it's not working well, so I think we should just pick a number and then figure out which ones, once we can put our eyes on it to see what's the most ideal spots.
One thing I do wanna be able to have us consider is, that residents should be using their numbered parking spot before they use an unmarked spot.
Yeah.
And I think we have to include that information, we have to include something like that in this document, because it's not fair to the people who do have more than one car, that a carport spot is not ever being used and they're parking in an unmarked spot instead. You know, because we're not opening up that carport spot to somebody who doesn't live
And
there.
they're parking in other people's spots,
Yep.
and they're parking in empty unit spots, and then the people come, the real estate people come, and they're trying to show the unit.
We're talking about something else right
No,
now.
I know, but we're talking about
I
parking.
understand. The numbered spots, I
Yeah,
understand, but
yeah.
I think that we have to make I mean, how does the board feel about saying that you must park in your numbered parking spot before you are able to
Yeah.
use an unmarked spot?
That's what I'm saying.
No, not in 5, I've got people that their marked spot is a block away from their condo.
Can you renumber them, Charlie? Can you renumber them so they
I mean,
make better sense?
mine's
Because
Wait,
I
wait,
think that should
wait,
be-
I wanna be clear, Charlie, are you telling me, I'm just gonna pick a number, I'm, sorry if anybody's here that owns it. I own 5908, my spot is not convenient to my condo, so I'm parking in an unmarked spot, and my numbered 508 spot is down the way, and no visitor, and no one else is parking there,
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
labeled for me.
That's what he's telling you.
Yeah, because their spot is, their spot is marked, their marked spot is on the other end of the complex.
So that kind of goes to my
We have that
statement saying,
everywhere,
So they're
maybe
using
we
an
need-
unmarked spot, and then you don't,
We
So-
have that everywhere.
Yeah, my question is, does this warrant us to be able to walk around, and again, that makes no sense to me. We should put the numbered spot by wherever this person lives and
Okay.
move the open spot down the road. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're not lined up well, then
Well,
that's
part
what
of
the
it
issue
too
is.
is, keep in mind, Megan, these are carports. So
Oh, yeah.
these spots have a carport.
Yeah.
But it does go to the fact that if you walk around here, you can see there is very little rhyme or reason
No.
to how these carports are assigned. Like, they are not in order, and
They sure are.
Can we redo it?
the board has absolute discretion. to do
Charlie,
that.
I love you, and I'm not trying to attack you, but because this sample came up, I've gotta say this. Charlie was the biggest one who was upset with his owners, because his owners didn't have an unmarked spot to park in. So they parked in a visitor spot, and they got towed. But we have owners over there who have a marked spot, who
And
aren't
don't
parking
use
in
them.
it, because they don't wanna walk 3 condos?
Yeah. And we have the same thing in cluster 9, they're all parking in front of our.
Cluster
Can you edit this so my face is not showing?
The board does have
We're
the
kind of mixing
ability,
up 2 issues here.
the board
No,
does have the
kind of.
ability to go through and renumber spots.
Yep.
So maybe this is something that we do
Yeah.
when all of the board is here, when we have that moment in time.
Yeah, I think this warrants us to do a walkthrough, but in the meantime, what do we need to
In
do
the
tonight? Can
meantime-
we agree on a number of
in-
visitor spots we're going to eliminate into?
No, right now,
Unmarked?
we're basically.
No, that has nothing to do with
No, that
this.
has nothing to do with this, but what we're trying to determine is, do we as a board feel that we should say, residents should be parking in their numbered spot before they are parking in an unmarked spot? And put that in the
No.
rules and regs. Charlie says no, but I have to ask.
I say yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
I
Robin?
agree,
I agree, I mean, to me, that's like an automatic, like, that's
it just makes better
We
sense.
have people all over the complex who do it, and we have to
Yeah.
find some way, because we have to make it so people have access.
Because think about
Charlie.
it, that's,
John, do you have, Robin, do you have an opinion?
Hang on a minute.
I agree.
Can
People are happy with the way they're parking up there. Nobody's complaining about it. Everybody's got a place to park. It's convenient to their place. They bought their condo, they realized that place was down there, or maybe they didn't realize their parking spot was a block and a half away or so.
Hang on.
And so now you're gonna make them walk every night
I
up,
do.
you know, it really is over a block to get to the parking spot.
Well, Charlie, what I'm saying is, I
They've
think,
got plenty of spaces to park right next to their condo.
yeah, so hear me out. I say yes for that, but I also think in the near future, we should walk through and adjust numbers that don't make sense. So for your people that are
They're
walking
out
the
of
block
order.
to get to their numbered spot, maybe we can adjust some of
We
them in
have
the
spots that
future.
are out of order, completely
are,
out
yeah.
of order all over this property.
Yeah, so it
They
sounds like
make
they're just not numbered
no
correctly.
Well, maybe you should start with adjusting the numbered spots before you start telling people they have to park a block away when they're
Well, we're not telling
parking
them
a
to
few
park.
feet from
Okay.
their door.
Okay.
I'd like to respond to that, Charlie, and also because it was Laura's suggestion that we do that. This is already in here. If I could bring your attention to page 6, just under the bold spot. Each condominium unit is assigned one parking space within the cluster in which the unit is located, and the residents shall, not may, not can, shall
It needs to say
park in their automobile in their assigned spot.
Does shall mean must?
Yes.
And maybe
A
we
maximum of
change
2
it.
cars per unit are permitted to park on the Pebble Springs property. The second car may be parked in any unmarked spot within Pebble Springs. So not only does it say you shall park in your marked spot, it says the second car may be parked in the unmarked spot. It actually identifies which car can be parked in the unmarked spot. So here's another rule that we've not been enforcing.
Yep.
I'll just tell you, you know, I'm just gonna turn them over to you because they're gonna go nuts about it. So it's no skin off my neck because I've tried to do my best to make the parking as flexible as possible so people can park near their places and I'm not making any progress here, so, but you deal with them then.
And Janet will, because she'll refer them back to the document that they signed when they decided to live here.
Well,
So-
and the board's gonna look at renumbering spots. I think that's a
That's what I'm saying, I think
fantastic
that's the
idea.
long-term solution. In the
Yeah.
short term, Charlie, the only way I see it is we have to, as a board, enforce the current rules. So I think we need to, you know, my frame is, we need to enforce the policy, and then we can circle back
Well-
and adjust the parking spots if need be.
I will say this, I brought that up because Laura, obviously, we don't have to put it in there, it's in there.
Yeah.
But we don't have to go around and start towing people right now
No,
on that rule.
No.
You know it's a problem, you know people are breaking it, you know they've been allowed to break it, and you know that, that we will, we're gonna adjust those spots, we're gonna do something about it.
I think that's
So-
fair.
So let's put a spot plan, parking spot plan, on our notes. Charlie, you can forward them to me, but only if you forward them to me to actually have this conversation and read these rules and go over the who, what, when, where, and why. Not if you send them out an email saying one thing that is against what the board is deciding to do. So tonight, the board.
Maybe, you know, I'm gonna let you take care of this. You formulate a letter and take care of it because you're creating a problem that wasn't really a problem, and it's not really my job to fix that.
Okay.
It's really not. I
Let's
mean,
move on.
it's-
Okay, let's move on to the next part, there's more about parking.
Well, these are only my notes. Did
Yeah.
anybody else make notes? Did anybody else have
Yeah.
these?
I would like to see that last sentence moved
Oh,
up.
that's right, Nancy was still in that paragraph.
That's all I would like to do.
Okay, I'm assuming we have no concerns about not allowing inoperative vehicles on the property? And we allow, so we allow within 7 days after they've been told it's inoperable, they have to get it off the property or fix it, is that? Yep,
With the exception of the paragraph below it, because like, you know.
flat
they're
tires,
kind of-
leaking fluids, eyesores,
Yeah.
they gave a 24-hour written notice, okay.
That's a little off the.
Do these, I mean,
How do you determine an eyesore?
I know it's open to debate, right?
like, I'm gonna throw this out there because like there's
Laura, you experienced this once.
a vehicle that doesn't have a back window and it's taped over, is that an eyesore?
Kinda, yeah.
So I
There's
mean,
also a vehicle out there that has a sticker on it that has, "I love effing cats," only the word is
we know what the word is.
spelled out.
I don't know how to cut down on bumper stickers because it is a free speech thing,
I understand that.
but how do you define what an eyesore is?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Because
How
one
do you
person's
define-
eyesore is a classic car. I don't know, I mean, I think it's a very hard thing to define, eyesore. I
Can
think-
you describe, can we define offensive? Like, again, when you're looking at, bumper stickers, free speech, but is it offensive for people to have curse words and nasty stuff for kids to see in the community? I don't know.
We're here and-
Get rid of the TVs if you don't want something against.
Well, we're talking about public areas for people to see.
I'm talking.
I don't know that
about
you could do that, because
stuff.
again, you drive around in public and you can't stop from what people are wearing,
No, you
on their
can't.
bumper stickers.
I think we should remove the word eyesores.
Eyesore, yeah.
It's a hard thing to.
Okay, until I moved down here from Buffalo with my rusted out car from all the salt in the snow that is falling apart, hanging off, but I drive it every day, it runs fine, and it looks like trash.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the other stuff we've talked about, define. Like, for example, remember when we were doing walkthroughs and we found the nasty thing of like 1,000 cigarettes? And you said, well, that's one person's lawn ornament versus, a pretty.
Oh, yeah,
something
it was
of-
the
Yeah, it was like a ginormous thing of
Yeah, I
cigarette
think I was
butts.
being funny though.
Yeah, I know, but we can't make someone take that out, right? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we can make them clean up their trash. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to
So
define
this
it.
is something for us to consider, I guess, until we can, so we leave it in until,
I was gonna say, leave it in until, and don't really worry about what things look like until you have that one vehicle that you know.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You all know, it's not a question.
Is that when the panel is going like this against
The only person who doesn't think it is the owner of the vehicle, that you know.
And they might even know that too, but that's all
can't
they
afford to
have.
fix it.
That might be
And
all that, right?
it's their car, that's what they can
That's
afford.
right.
So why would you take that away from them? I
Well,
don't
that's the same
know
thing
what
with the
you-
window, I'm sure it is an eyesore, but my guess is they haven't fixed it because they can't afford to, or, I don't know. I don't. Oh.
all right,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna really do anything with that. Anything about motorcycles, motorbikes? We don't have a lot of them here.
No,
We used to, there were a few,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
I
we
see,
did.
but I think they're gone.
Sure
yeah,
did.
6218.
Yep, expired plates, we know that's trash.
We already, we know the trash rules, nobody follows them, but they are in here and they're,
Okay, so then now we've got the stuff on, nothing on lanai's balconies, do we have anything there? No pets should be left unattended, yep. Okay, we've got a star section here under 16, which is related to people being absent from their home.
These people don't realize what fucking time it is.
Is it really 48 hours?
For what?
We say any unit who plans to be absent for more than 48 hours
It says
shall,
that, but it doesn't make
in
any
order
sense,
to
yeah.
prevent damage. Like if you're gone for a weekend, you need to have somebody,
Like, well, yeah,
does that make sense?
it said it.
Well, you know what? Look at our house, what happened last year.
Oh, whatever.
I checked somebody's condo, and I tell you what, the air conditioner froze,
Okay.
the,
How
there
do
was
we
a
enforce
leak,
it though?
there was a leak. I mean, someone needs to look after their condos.
You don't need to unless there's an issue.
Alright, air conditioner maintained by professional, a minimum of 1 time per year to prevent the drain line from clogging.
Guys, we're on page 9, I just forgot to slide.
So, just, sorry, it's a little bit off topic, but I noticed that Buster 3 had a bill for $459 for
Yeah.
cleaning out
I saw
2, so,
Yeah, I saw that, there was actually two invoices, Charlie.
From
One
Sewell.
was 700 and something. The other one was
So-
four.
That's not our responsibility, is it?
I didn't
Or-
think so.
Yes.
Why? Because they
The
all run
owner is
together?
only responsible for the plumbing and the electrical until it enters the wall and is shared by more than one unit. So if a
Drain
unit
lines.
owner is keeping their, I'm gonna say the word wrong, I'm not an AC person, condensate line clear, and
Yep.
another one is not, and the main tube clogs, the one who keeps theirs clear is gonna have an issue. And that has happened and just happened as recent as last evening. So, you are responsible for the point where they merge and drain. To avoid
That's
that,
exactly what happened in cluster 3, Janet, with
Yes.
that
That is.
bill.
yes. And so to avoid that, maybe we require owners to have this done maybe twice per year,
The servicing,
the
but
servicing.
how do we confirm they've done it?
Well, here's the thing. If I have to call Sewell out for a $700 bill, I would like to see your invoice where you paid so-and-so every 6 months. And if you didn't, you can help me pay the $700. I don't know if we can do that. We could try, but I'd like you to see them
Makes sense.
try and do it more often, because that's the issue. I don't know who's here. Is anyone here that it was involved in the recent, I don't want to get
In
anybody
cluster
down.
3?
If you are,
They are
don't
not.
say anything, nobody will know.
They are not.
Are
Okay.
they in cluster 3?
We took a leaf
They're
blower.
not here.
I was involved in that.
But, no, the people that live in those
Oh,
units
that
is
live
what
in
she's
the units,
asking.
no, I
No.
don't, because
Took
I
a leaf
I
blower
got Terry's call.
and I don't even, so it's not, it's a thing. We need, I mean, again, enforcement, but
I personally, like, this is why we did the walk around, is to put the responsibility back on the unit owner to say, you are required to maintain your property. If you're not maintaining your property, then there has to be some ramification, and the cluster should not be responsible for paying the cost of your lack of maintenance and the damage
so,
it might do.
so right here in this particular case, you've got this rule in that they apparently have not followed, and therefore the thing's plugged up, and now we're paying it, but they're not following the rules. So can't you go back and say, well, you didn't follow this rule, so it's not our problem, you didn't maintain your unit correctly.
Well, here's
Well,
what I
so
was told,
you-
Charlie, when I talked to them, that they pour, I think it was rubbing alcohol or vinegar, down their line once a month, and that keeps it clear. And that appeared to me, when she was talking about it, that was the only maintenance that was ever done on that machine, was that she poured vinegar water, or vinegar down the line to clear out any clogs.
Okay,
Now,
so
does
that's
that say
not
that it's-
maintaining it by a professional, so.
No, that
Well,
isn't.
Charlie, I think we could leave it at once per year, but my system will allow us, because you know, like where you're getting this parking from, I can put in there, AC maintenance, and then require people to send me your invoice that you had it done. Send me your paid invoice. I don't care who they use. I don't care what time of the year they have it done, just so long as they have it done once every 12 months.
I
Well,
disagree with that
let's just-
wholeheartedly.
Let's just charge them if it causes a problem. I
Too
mean,
damn
that's-
much control here.
Here's the deal, I think honestly that there should be some requirement that you have to be maintaining your air conditioner, because if it
It's
is
right,
causing issues.
it's right here, you've already got it in here, it's
Then
right here.
why can't we go
One-
back
one
to those
time a year.
people and say, you, show us how you've actually had this done at least once in the last year before you expect us to pay $700 to
Yeah,
fix the
okay.
damage your property did.
Yeah, Hank
You've already
keeps me
got it,
again.
it's right there.
It's already in here, I'm not making you more
It's in there.
restrictive, I'm just saying, how do we track it?
So is there a way for us to go back
I
and
I
say,
don't know what you're talking about damages. If mine gets plugged up, yeah, I am responsible for getting it unplugged.
and in this
That's
situation,
all- that's the way
and
it
yes,
has been.
that is the way it is. In this situation, this person was not maintaining, she was pouring vinegar,
That's
That
okay,
did
that's the
not-
way to keep it clear.
That's
That's
not,
good.
wait,
that's
That's a
not
good practice.
servicing.
That,
That's
it's
not
shared,
servicing.
it's shared by the upper and the lower. One of them is taking very good care of it, the other is not.
The lower one is the one that counts, and I'm the lower one in this case.
Well-
And if I don't keep it clear, it's not gonna be clear for
But
what's coming down.
In
Right.
this situation, it was the upper unit not keeping it clear, and it caused issues in the lower unit.
Right.
And
So
we've had
that's-
issues with far more expensive
Yeah.
than that from people not fixing things.
We have to have some
And
way
then
of
we have a
saying it
$10,000
has to
bill for
be-
stuff.
That
So-
doesn't make gravity sense
Well-
about the upper unit getting plugged up and it causing a problem down below.
But
Okay,
what happens if it overflows the
so
pad?
do we
And
have
it
Well,
goes
any
down.
way
that's
of
something
saying,
else.
do we
Yeah,
have any
we're
way
talking
of
about
saying,
just the plug
you
up,
need
yeah.
to provide us?
Yeah, in the hole.
in the
I don't
last-
know that you need to change this, that it's already in here, like Charlie
Okay.
said, we can leave it.
I
I
think
just
we
want you to
do.
consider how we maintain that,
I think
how we track it.
I think if we have these situations, we go back to the owner and say, show me how you've maintained this unit over the course of the year, and if they fail to provide that they've done it, the cluster should not be responsible for paying for the work.
And do it now. I mean, it's like, there's no, you got your remedy right now. You ask them to pay the
Pay the bill.
association back.
It hasn't been approved yet, right? Or
Yeah.
check hasn't been cut.
I approve.
Check hasn't been
one
cut. I
account.
think that it's appropriate for.
Well, the documents in the statute mandate what kind of plumbing you're responsible for.
Yeah.
So this is a push on that, so we'd have to definitely, I mean, we could try, but if they push
Well,
back, it
there'll
needs
be
your
a
attorney.
Okay.
Because it's not, yeah, it's not in their area. I crossed out that second paragraph. I don't know why this was ever put in here. It says, but the FPL recommends to move it to 80 degrees for detached homes and townhomes. You don't have either of those, I'm not even sure what's in there. So I just crossed it out.
Are
Is
you
that-
on page 9 still?
Yeah, the second
Okay,
to
I
last
see it.
paragraph.
If you have manual thermostat?
It says, if, yeah, and then it just, so I just wanna go from your air conditioner system to 77 degrees.
Yeah, because we don't have detached in town.
Homes and townhomes, yeah, so
Can
I
I-
just,
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, but can I ask a question about number 14, trash disposal? I know we've had several issues of people dumping huge things, and I see that it's in there. I'm asking if we should put some additional language or put some more stern language in there, because I just know we've had issues with people like dumping,
we can't force what we have
It's-
now, and it's in there.
yeah,
Large
yeah.
parts,
Until we-
boxes.
and we can't say anything about finding, because we don't have a finding
No,
period.
Right.
until we have a way of enforcing it and actually proving who's doing it,
Right.
I'm gonna have to
there's
get a
really
replay.
nothing in here. Alright, so programmable thermostat,
No
sure.
replay.
Any other, based on the additional pages here, do we have any other concerns or anything that needs to be updated?
Guys, was there anything on page 10 that you wanted to bring up?
Everybody's coming to us at this point.
Yeah.
It's been a long night.
Sounds productive to me. This is long, I know, but I'm enjoying listening to these
Alright,
things.
so then
Very
skipping ahead to
informative.
page 11, summary, it looks like you're just removing the language at the bottom of that, foregoing rules and regs, and then including the ESA.
I would take out the whole, what, I don't
Oh,
even
wait,
know
I know,
how summary's in
page,
there.
page 20, the complaint procedure, don't we need to add the whole
There
language
is
about
no
the month?
page 20, oh my God, we're gonna be here till
I'm so-
midnight.
No, I'm sorry,
What?
page 11, number 20. Remember how we instituted the,
Page 10, 20.
I'm sorry,
number
page
20.
10, number 20, going into page 11. Upon review by the association, and if it is determined that a violation has occurred, the association shall inform the violator and/or unit owner of the violation in writing, and if appropriate, the violator should be given a time limit in which to comply.
We do that with the letters.
Yeah, we do that.
Right, but don't we have like a certain thing, like a 30 days, and then if they haven't done it
Isn't
by,
it 14 and then 30?
You're talking about the whole compliance process,
Yeah.
and that's,
And not the
That's separate.
complaint
Yeah.
itself.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if we need to add that in there. So you're-
this is your procedure, like if you break any of these rules, what we have to do.
Okay.
Is give it, right.
So then, you're saying, Janet, and so number 21, section, on page 11, what are you saying about this, that we should do what?
Get rid of it.
I don't
Just
even know
get rid
what's
of
in-
the summary entirely? Okay.
I mean, you can look at
Unless
it.
you put in something in there that this third paragraph in the first, or the third sentence in the last, this is the first paragraph.
The cooperation.
Intended for the preservation of buildings, structures, and other properties. That's why we have these rules.
Well, the
is
second
everything.
paragraph is nice too, I like that.
Then leave them in.
Alright,
Yeah.
just take that last section out.
And
Anybody
should
have
we put
problems with
anything
that?
in there about how the board has a
Well-
fiduciary duty to,
Yeah,
enforce these rules?
There's nothing.
These are the rules for the
I don't
owners,
think
not the
anybody
rules for
will,
the
but-
board, I guess, maybe, would
And
be what I.
usually it's
I
no,
mean, you
no.
could, I guess.
Alright, so we finished discussion, okay, consideration of cluster master expenditures over $1,000.
Uh-oh, we actually.
Where are you
Sorry,
now?
I'm
I'd
jumping
like
you
to
back
get
to
rid
the
of this.
agenda.
We're back on the agenda,
We're back on the
Oh, God, we're back to that
expenditures.
now?
Yeah, cause we
We're
went
not
through the
done.
entire rules and regs.
Alright, so we're back on leases?
We're on expenditures.
No, leases.
Do we have a say on something, Laura? Laura,
You wanna
Dear
speak?
Lord, what will we?
Laura.
Yes,
do we have a say on something on the rules and regs?
you can have an opinion.
Yes. We don't have anything on, you know, again, at least in my cluster, there's so many things being left outside the front door. I mean, I wrote it down, garbage, shoes, beach chairs, cat beds, boxes of furniture, food and water for cats and other animals, trays, fishing poles. Yeah, I mean, that's a long list.
Yeah, it is.
These people have, like, they're not allowed to have stuff out in front of the house, they're not supposed to
I
have
know that.
anything
Does it
blocking.
say, well, again, yeah, because I know I had to send an email out, again, I don't know if you guys are gonna have this kind of stuff, complaints because people were feeding the local wildlife, you know, the, cats, the feral cats and whatnot, which of course attracts other things, and so I don't know, I do know we have several units that we have a problem with them, they just leave their trash out front constantly, and that attracts all the rats, which is a big problem.
Yeah.
So that's not anywhere as far as trash and in front? To me, it's no different than the lanai as far as not leaving a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I've seen like cat
But there's
houses and all kinds of
everything,
stuff. Yeah.
fishing poles, shoes, garbage, cat beds, I mean, you would never believe that all this thing is
And
there.
where is this?
This is my cluster, I have pictures
Is there anything?
No,
in
where
this
are you?
outside the front door.
In the front door.
Outside the front door is common element, just send me a picture, send me a thing, and we'll send them a notice.
Okay.
You can't have
Because
stuff like that.
it's.
I know,
it-
but do we
all
not
of ours,
put that
no.
in the rules and regulations?
It's in there, it's in the declaration. You mean in here?
Yes.
Should we, they never did, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to be snarky to the board. We're reviewing and making edits as needed in what someone else did. If the board really wants to take the time, we're not doing this in September. They need to get serious with the documents, get serious with this, go through and see what else they want in here, what they want out of here. I don't think
Well, we
we're
just
ready to
got,
attack
we
that
just
at this
got
time.
all new
Not this
renters,
hour.
and that's why it's bad right now, and if we don't, I
Which,
mean,
I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
all
mean,
new what?
All new
It-
people in there, I
Renters.
mean,
it would be a
Janet
waste.
can send him a letter, telling him, hey, you can't do this. Take a picture.
I know, but they're gonna get these copies, why, they're all new people, why are they not gonna get a copy of something that has the rules right,
Well, the
right?
thing is,
Working on
Susan,
it.
is that the copy of this goes to the owner, and who knows if the owner ever gives
And the
it.
declaration,
It also
yeah.
If
goes
the
because
owner
of the
ever gives it
applicant.
to the renter.
But no, when people apply to live here, they get this.
It's-
We have seen the application.
But that, no, that's what she's saying, if it doesn't say, you can't have all this, for lack of a better word,
Stuff.
excuse me, stuff, yeah, thank you, out front. How do they know?
I mean, we gotta say it now, you know,
I
not later.
understand that, Susan. It's 8:45, and we have
I know, but
pages upon pages upon pages that have to be revisited. The board, we are simply talking about things that we want to include in here, and this is something we can include through our discussion, so when we actually come to adopting the rules, we might have that in here, okay? So that, I mean, Janet, do you want to write
In other
down
words,
something
we'll
about?
get there, we'll get
Will-
there.
Additional.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying, instead
Getting it in here
of
is
us
what you
tackling
want,
I
it
know,
right this
she was saying
second.
at first maybe not to put it in there, that's all.
No, I mean, we can revisit it, it's just, I mean, it's a problem and it needs to be included in there, and I mean, I should look at the trash piece, because whether or not there's things about that, I mean, but we can add it, and so when it comes time for that meeting, maybe we'll start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and expect to go for 6.5 hours to do this. Janet won't be there for that, but we will address it because I know what a problem it is, and, yeah, so we'll look at it, okay?
And we don't have to rush it and do this
No.
in September.
No, there's not
If
a
you don't-
time frame in this,
yeah.
but
Right.
we're gonna, like, don't
Somebody
leave
just hung up.
Brandon
Oh,
down.
that was me. I didn't hang up, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, don't not do it because
All right,
it
let's
would
move on.
All right.
break up your tongue.
Okay, I'm gonna, so
That's
I
your
put a note
fault.
for myself, I put a note for myself.
It's your fault.
Okay, and Janet's got one too. All right, let's get back to the agenda.
She's fucking yelling at me because
Consideration of cluster master expenditures over $1,000.
All right, hopefully one motion for all of these. There are none that are pending, upcoming that we need pre-approval. These were all emergency repairs or whatnot.
Okay.
Okay, so master, Sewell's Plumbing.
Here's the camera.
It was a mess of, I don't know, oh, the shower valve, the leak, it was
Yeah,
plumbing
okay.
issue. Yeah, Sewell's Plumbing in the master for $1,360. And the list that they described of stuff they did was so long, I got sidetracked, I'm sorry. The master, the air conditioner, and again, this is, we had discussed the $8,800, but we are approving an $8,200 air conditioner for the master. Cluster 1 for a total of $1,500. This is a roof repair for 6228.
Oh, no.
What?
This is $13,000. It is a roof replacement for 6228.
This is an estimate for a repair from Pitch for 6228.
We approved,
28 and 30 are getting the whole roof redone.
yeah, the board approved, or the board
whole
said that
thing.
we were okay with going ahead with the whole roof.
That's
That
right.
section,
I
I
printed
think
the
it's
wrong
more.
one. Go
Yeah.
with
That's okay.
re-roof. All right,
Okay.
I'll get that one. I'll get it in the minutes correctly.
Okay.
Cluster 2 was for 6350, a roof repair for $1,225. Cluster 3 was a plumbing repair for,
Is that the Sewell one?
no, this was the leak at the pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was $1,310.01. Cluster 4 was 6054, classic roofing for $1,800 for a repair, roof. Classic roofing, cluster 6, 6309, $1,375. And cluster 6, classic for 6345 for $2,195. Every roof repair that I just mentioned or replacement is all as a result of
The storm.
Storm Debbie, yeah. Yeah, so, and that's mostly what it was, other than the air conditioner here that broke. And the big plumbing issue at 3, you know, the pool plumbing. So if I could have a motion to accept all of those repairs.
I'll make a motion to accept all of those invoices that are over $1,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
Now, wait, one more. Dawn and I need, and it's gonna depend on her schedule and of course mine. We need a budget workshop to start working on after we meet with you guys Tuesday. So I didn't know if you wanna discuss that now, you wanna do it by
I think it's
email,
a
or what do
good
you
idea
wanna
to do it now. I will be gone after the 11th of September for 2.5 months.
do? Okay.
Excuse me one second, I'm gonna have to leave now, and I
Yeah,
know you
you
guys
and me
have a
both.
long night, and I have several things I want to say. So Janet, I'll write you a letter of the things I wanted to mention, and you can share it with the board. please.
Okay,
Sounds
will
good.
do.
Bye.
Thank you, Hank.
Bye,
See you,
Hank.
you love me.
Bye.
Have a good day tomorrow.
Oh,
And I,
come on.
yeah, sleep,
Okay, so
sleep tight.
a
Bye,
budget
Hank.
workshop, and that's for the residents to attend, correct?
They can attend it if they want. We're not adopting the
Okay,
budget, we're
okay.
just gonna work out the rest of the.
And then,
yeah.
didn't you say there's gonna be a time where there's like a Q&A or something?
That's supposed to be
That's
right
happening.
now.
Oh.
Oh, chill.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we
You have a
trying to.
question?
You
will be happy to hear you when we.
You wanna just do it by email? I'll just
Yeah,
get
send
everybody
it-
together,
send
we'll
it
just
by
schedule
email,
it
we'll
by
figure it
email.
out. Okay,
Alright, we're done.
But keep in mind, after the 11th, I'm not.
I get it. Okay, consideration of other last minute contract proposals, does anybody have any?
No, that was it.
I have something.
Okay.
I'd like to ask the board to reimburse the 8 people that were towed, due to the change in parking enforcement. And, I imagine it'll be around $1,600 or more possibly. And, this was a mistake apparently made by several board members of trusting what Comto told us. And, we passed it on to our owners and residents in good faith. And, so through no fault of their own, these people were towed. And, if I could pay for my own in cluster 5 out of my funds, I would certainly do that, but I can't just do that, so it has to be a board decision. So that's my motion, is to pay those people, reimburse them.
Is there discussion?
Wasn't it already in the documents, what it said?
Yeah.
Charlie, would you go along with reimbursing anything like half?
No.
No?
This is Dawn, I'm gonna jump in here for a minute. We've had this discussion.
Right.
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Because the documents didn't change. And I have some